Hello, hi, it's me. I do the things and stuff. So today we're gonna be talking about Lost Signal. Um, this thing's awesome. Just gonna point that out. It's a new frame type, so I'm gonna have to get into that to some degree. It is a area denial frame. Sounds very complicated, but if you've ever used Witherhoard, it's Witherhoard, but instead of one big circle on the ground, you can leave up to five and they're much smaller than Witherhoard circles. I would say each circle is about a fourth of Witherhoard circle, and they don't stick directly to people. If you hit a target and it explodes on the target, then it'll just make the pool in the air where the target is or whatever. As far as all of the other stats and stuff go, I don't think any of this stuff is important when we're talking about a grenade launcher. Um, Yeah, almost none of it ever matters, and especially with this one because at least on other grenade launchers you can consider velocity or blast radius. Where here I don't think that matters at all. So I'm directly going to just get into the traits and my ideal combinations. I think there are two ways to, well, three ways I guess, to use this gun. One would be in just base ad clear, um, because of the way it works. uh, Stats for all. If you're purely going for um, ad clear, I'll run like stats for all in the third slot in demo, in the fourth slot for like base game. But if you're doing like harder content, I would go for one for all. Based off my anecdotal evidence, ooh, evidence. Um, this gun does way more than enough damage to kill at base game, to kill red bars at base game. You do start to struggle when you're in anything heroic or higher. Um, so adding some damage helps, and I think one for all would be a higher damage boost and easier to proc than high ground in this situation, just because you're going to be killing things. And it's a higher damage trait. I mean, okay, let me let me make sure I say this the way I want to say it. With high ground, you have to be on high ground to activate the trait, or you have to kill things. In higher end content, you want things where you want traits, so you don't necessarily have to kill things to get a damage increase. Because in a situation where you can't kill things, you need a way to be able to proc extra damage. And for me, that's going to be one for all because you're going to just spray the dots out everywhere. And once you hit enough enemies, then bam, the dots just do more damage anyway. So um, that's my methodology. And that's if you're going for ad clear, right? So if you're using this thing to kill um, red bar guys, that's one way to use this gun, or two ways, right? And both of them's for ad clear, but one's like early game, and the other one would be more in game. Also for base game, demo or wellspring is those are my ideal traits. With demo giving you grenade energy and allowing you to reload via a throwing your grenade. Wellspring is just because you should be killing a ton of ads, which will help out with the with your builds and such. The other way to use this gun is to add DPS. Its DPS is not great, but you can see here with my man Error. Don't kill me, bro. Uh, I love watching this guy's stuff. He's awesome. Um, the DPS calc that he came up with, and this is for Carl in the Lost Sector, which I believe he is now considered a boss. So this damage number is actually much higher versus pretty much every other thing in the game. but regardless, it's about 53k. And you know, high ground increases that by 25%. Vulnerable increases this by 61 by 15% constantly versus yellow bars. But I would rather have the damage increase versus the red bars as well, because sometimes, because it doesn't track them or anything, you want to make sure you're doing enough damage to kill them. And then if you compare that to Wither Horde, then we're talking, um, at least as far as single target damage is concerned. Um, Wither Horde only does like, does like 126k, while this gun's more in the 66 range, and that's with a damage increase. So it's not exactly the same, but it is a legendary. So despite the fact that it's like cut in half, if you go auto-loading holster and you use Vorpal, then this thing can be used as a swap to it, shoot it out, forget about it, and use your DPS. So it can just apply extra DPS for you, just like with the Horde. In this situation, high ground would be ideal as well, because one for all won't work, because you won't be spraying this on a bunch of people. You're just doing this single target wise. And then high ground is a 25% damage increase versus everything if you're on a higher plane than the enemy. Versus Vorpal just kind of working all the time, but only being a 15% damage increase. So it's really up to you, but either way, both of those would be solid. And add plenty of DPS to your gun, because I believe this is the single target number with high ground. This is the single target number with high ground, so 25% extra damage on top of its base, or DPS, on top of its base DPS. So those are the two ways that I think you can use this gun. Also, don't forget, Quentin, to mention the origin trait, which does also leave a pool on the ground after you get a kill, which is interesting. Really think they should have gave every single one of these guns shoot to loot, though, by the way. I think if this had shoot to loot, it would be more interesting with that approach. It would be random, but I think that would be cool. Plus, it would give the whole archetype a niche, but whatever. Not archetype, the whole series of guns. All of the Radiolarian Transposer guns. A cool little niche. But anyways, so we're not here forever. Um, I think this is a gotta have it. If you are going to get one gun from this set, this would arguably be the gun you need to get from the set. Just because it's super unique. There's nothing else in the game like it at current, outside of an exotic, and it lets you play the game in a different way. So it's really good. I really like it. Oh, also, really cool little side thing. It does a really, really good job of giving you Darkness Transcendence energy, because you get energy per tick, as opposed to every other gun that's like, per bullet, because each bullet's doing damage. Each tick is doing damage, and you get a ton of Darkness Transcendence energy, so it helps a lot with that as well. If you're playing Prismatic, which, you know, you are. Anyways, that's it. Later.